I'm going to try to explain my theory and at the same time explain a bunch of other stuff about why Boko Haram is not receiving the same kind of publicity that ISIS is. The reason is because, well, it's a long story to be honest with you. It goes back to the time of Harry Truman. In 1945, Harry Truman became the president. He was the vice president under FDR, but when FDR died from polio, um, Truman took his place. A lot of people say that when Truman was the president, that was the time period in which the first female president was in power. And it's kind of a joke because the fact of the matter is that Bess Truman wore the pants in the circumstance. And so a lot of the stuff that we attribute as to a lot of decisions that we attribute to having been made by Truman, from my understanding, were really there's a lot of evidence to show that they were probably really made by his wife. But anyways, one of the things that we had to deal with in the middle of the century was the Red Scare, and that had to do with people being scared of the communists. Well, there was a communist party, or it was socialist back then. Technically, it was socialism, and the reason it was socialist is because they were Islamic, you know. And in true communism, there's no room you can't have religion. Religion is illegal in a true communist state. So what made them socialist, in my opinion, was the fact that they still had Muslim beliefs. This group of people is called the Ba'ath Party. So when the CIA was created in 1947 as a weapon to use against the Soviets and against the Red Scare and all of that stuff, one of the things that they did was they infiltrated the Ba'ath Party, and they changed them from basically they tried to bring them to the right wing of it, like a right wing conservative Christian. They tried to go in there and plant seeds of extreme conservatism so that they would disrupt the basically the communist intentions of the Ba'ath Party at the time. So what happened is that the Ba'ath Party was taken control of by the CIA for a certain amount of time, and at the close of and basically when they released the power back to the Ba'ath Party, it was in the form of people that they had put into power. So back in the day, the Ba'ath Party had what was called the Jackal, and the Jackal was Saddam Hussein, and that is the person that would go out there and do terrible shit, like to whoever, mainly the Kurds, under the guise of being a his own thing, like Saddam Hussein looked like his own thing, but he was really put into place by the Ba'ath Party, and the Ba'ath Party was put into place by the CIA. Well, not the Ba'ath Party first, but what I'm saying is the CIA infiltrated it and put their own people in place. So today we have what's called ISIS, and what ISIS means is the Islamic State in Syria. We also have something called ISIL, which is the Islamic State in Lebanon. Both of these are backed by the same people. The Ba'ath Party, who is backed by dun, 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 the Sunni Muslims that were put into power by your own country. So, what happened is after that we took care of Saddam Hussein, the Ba'ath Party dun, 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 no longer had a jackal to do all of their terrible shit for them. So, in 2015, there is a group of Muslims in Africa called Boko Haram, and they swore allegiance to ISIS. And they are a group of black Muslims in Nigeria that are trying to commit genocide against certain tribes there. And they're doing a lot of child killings. They're very, very terrible motherfuckers. And their name, Boko Haram, means Western Education Forbidden. The point of them being sworn to allegiance with ISIS, and now they have an ISIS flag with some more stuff written on the bottom of it that they carry as the Boko Haram sign. And one of the reasons why they made the cut to join ISIS is because they have half of the attacks that ISIS does, but with twice the death toll. You feel me? Like for every two basically attacks that ISIS has, Boko Haram whoops them with one. And the reason why there isn't so much media attention put on Boko Haram is because of the racism of the matter. Um, and because Boko Haram is becoming the new jackal. Right now, you know, there's no oil to be got really to speak of in Africa. You know what I mean? We're not over there trying to persuade people to invest money to go to Africa, and that's because there's nothing really there left for the folks to take advantage of. You know, the Jews already have the diamonds on lockdown. You know, no offense to the Jews, you guys are great at what you do, but but I mean that's really the only interest that anybody that has an interest in money has in Africa, except for that they're gonna need a new fall guy so that they don't have to get rid of the Ba'ath Party. So the new fall guy is being groomed, and that fall guy is Boko Haram. And when all this shit comes to a head, when the Republicans get back in office, if they do, that's the kind of bullshit they're gonna pull. They're gonna say, "Oh look, it was Boko Haram this whole time," and this huge problem that's so out of hand is going to be the diversion from the fact that they're the ones who put ISIS and is ill and the Ba'ath Party in power in the first place. That's what this American government, that's what the super delegates, that's what the Republicans, that's what the elites, that's what the CIA, that's what Bush, that's what nobody wants to talk about, is how that the CIA put the Ba'ath Party in place, and now the Ba'ath Party is doing whatever the fuck they want, wherever the fuck they want, because they have already made their own Illuminati. They are already, you know, they don't give a fuck about Islam. They get together in a group and they say, okay, we're going to suicide bomb this country, and they're going to put our government in power the same way that we did in Iraq. They're doing the same shit that we did in Iraq, except for we didn't suicide bomb them to get it. We just went in with tanks and shit. ISIS is different. They believe that you go to, you know, well, they're foot soldiers, they're lowly foot soldiers who don't understand the Illuminati function in ISIS, are going out there and getting killed in these suicide bombings because they believe that they're going straight to heaven. But the fact of the matter is that it's a politically motivated jihad, and it's motivated by another sort of Illuminati that was put into place by our own Illuminati. And now it's coming back to bite them in the ass, and they're scrambling trying to find the fall guy, which eventually is going to be Boko Haram. So, because they're thinking that they're going to be able to convince white America to get on board and send our kids to get killed in Africa the same way that we did in Iraq, the same way we did in Afghanistan, the same way they're trying to get us to do in Syria. You know what I mean? And at this time, they even get to say, you know, look, we get to go, you know, instead of, you know the classifications that came with 9/11, and watch, as soon as there's the Boko Haram suicide bombing, watch how the classification goes. It's not going to be what's up. It's going to be a fucking police state, and you guys know it, and you better get your head around it, and you better get out there and vote for Hillary, even if she is the only Democratic nominee, because we can't fucking have that shit going down. And even if we got to impeach her and put some real motherfuckers in place, the racism in the government has got to stop. The preference for ISIS over Boko Haram to let them be the lesser, you know, try to make a fall guy, another Saddam Hussein, so that we can get distracted from what the real problem is. Mm-hmm. That's what's really going down. You guys don't fall for this bullshit. Fuck Fox Media. Get out here and read some shit and learn for yourself. Don't get it twisted.